What we are talking about today is some food for thought when it comes to pivoting. And I know in most of our minds, we just went pivot, right? Like the Friends thing where Ross is carrying the couch up the stairs, or Ross and Friends. But what I want to talk about today is like I said, some food for thought when it comes to pivoting in your business, in your life. And really, we can exchange the word pivot with changing your mind. Can we just do that? Can we just make that okay? Can we make it okay to just decide to do something different? And here's the food for thought that I want to share is, as long as the pivot that you're doing, I need to scooch over a little bit. As long as the pivot that you're doing is what's best for everyone involved, then I say, hey, go do it. If a pivot is going to hurt people or something like that, that's where you think twice about it. It's where you think of sort of customizing an experience and, or maybe really thinking about, should that pivot actually happen if it's going to hurt people and that sort of thing. If it's better for people, I say do it. Second to that, and it really should be first actually, so let me back up. This is actually the first part, I'm just saying it second. The first part is, are you praying about this? Is this where you are being led by God to go? Is this your path? Is this what you're being guided to do? Right? There's a couple distinctions that I'm going to make here in a really short time. One of the distinctions is going to probably mean a lot to your business or to the way that you produce income. And the second distinction is probably going to mean a lot to your life and the way that you move about in it from today forward, right? And these are just things that I think about, right? And so I just want to share with you guys stuff that goes through my own mind as I'm going through a pivot myself, right? I'm going through an extreme pivot in what I'm doing. And it's all in alignment with what I'm being guided to do. Now, the very first thing that somebody may think, not everybody, some of you might not be thinking this, but a main thing that somebody might think whenever I say, are you listening to God? Are you moving in the direction that God is guiding you? A thing that you might think is, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that actually means. I don't know how to hear what God is saying to me, right? And so Pastor Jeff Lawrence, pastor at LifeBridge Church, executive pastor at LifeBridge Church, last week he spoke on this, and I believe this next Sunday he's also going to speak a little bit on this as well. It's like he touched on it last Sunday, and I think he might be going deeper this next Sunday. So head over to LifeBridge Church and watch last Sunday's sermon. I was in the worship choir, by the way, but watch last Sunday's sermon. It was fantastic. I watched it twice. And then watch this next week's as well, because I believe he's going to dive into it a little bit more deeply. But really, what we need to do, a sentence that he said last Sunday was, and I'm probably goofing up what he actually said, but this is what I heard and what's coming back out, right? And so what he said was, we need to attune ourselves to God, to be able to hear what he's saying to us. Now, what the heck does that mean? Well, we know what attuning means, right? If you were to Google attuning, or if you were to go to the dictionary and look up attuning, essentially it's finding the same note, right? It's finding that same place where you live in the same place, right? Now, are we going to live in the same place as God, like being God? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we attune ourselves to be able to hear what he's saying to us by making sure that we're in constant communication with him. So what is your prayer life like, right? How often are you digging into the Bible? How often are you actually, or do you just have these memorized verses that you've had memorized forever, and you're like, that's my favorite verse, and that's my favorite verse, and that's my favorite verse, but you're not really digging in to what God has to say to us every single day, right? The Bible, if you've ever done that before in your life, you'll quickly see the Bible is very dynamic. It's the living word, right? When we see things, we connect. And it's almost like, it's so bizarre, but it's true. It's almost like the things that you start reading are like, oh, that is exactly what I needed to hear today. And that's kind of how it works. It's a little like magic. It's not magic, you know. Okay, don't quote Martha and say, the Bible's magic. But listen, what I'm saying to you is do it so you can understand that. To be able to attune ourselves, to hear what God is saying to us, to be able to really be led in our lives, guys, we need to be attuned to what he's saying to us, of us, about us, defining us in the word daily. We need to live inside of that place to be attuned, to be able to hear what he's saying to us in our daily life, guys. It's not parlor tricks. It's not a good idea, right? It's not that you just had a good idea. It's that you've had divinely inspired ideas because you are daily in the Word with God. But if we're not, and if we don't have a prayer life daily, then we don't have that communication. And it's us. We cut that off. God never cut it off. I don't know why I'm going to cry right now. He's been here with you forever. He was here with me forever. Were there years, full-on years, over a decade, where I paid no attention to him being right next to me? Yes. But did he carry me through things anyway? Yes. What I want for you guys is I want what God wants for you. I want for you to live it out. I want for you to see it. I want for you to feel it. And I want for you to understand the blessings that come along with it. And it's not even just the blessings, guys. It's the comfort. It's the being held. It's the knowing that you don't really have to control anything. It's the just be okay. That's what I want for you guys. And then to do that, guys, you pray. And if you're not a praying sort right now, you just start. You just start by saying, "Dear Lord, I know it's been a while." That was one of my first prayers whenever I came back after like 14 years. It was a long time. One of my first prayers was, "God, I know we don't talk a lot." And then I just started letting it out. And so in all of my moments, all of my quiet moments, and even some of my not so quiet moments, you may see me staring. And I'm praying. If you see me staring somewhere, it's because I'm somewhere else. I want that for you guys, because then you can be led. And now let me say the second part of that is when you're led, and it's a pivot, like mine is a pivot right now, but we all need to be okay with pivot. Like, come back to this video, like star it, save it, something. If you need to save it for yourself for when a pivot does come for you, because they'll come over and over and over again. But whenever it comes to you, watch this. I want you to watch this video when it happens again. Because when a pivot comes, there will always be people that have negative opinions about the pivot that you're doing. My question to you is this: are you going to let that noise stop your mission in this world? I'm not. There are always going to be people that complain about choices that you make and make judgment about choices that you make, guys. Here's the deal. If you don't hear it from God, it's not a complaint you need to log. Does that make sense? It's just, and usually the people that complain, God bless them, but usually they complain about everything. It's just you're the flavor right now. You're the easy, it's low-hanging fruit. Complainers they look for low-hanging fruit and they're like, I'm mad about that. And I'm mad about that. And I'm mad about that. Don't worry about complainers. They're complainers. God bless them. Maybe they won't be someday, but they are right now. You just don't need to worry about it. You don't even need to log that. You need to stay focused on what you're doing, why you're here, and just stay in alignment, stay in attunement with God so you can hear him say, I need you to do this. When I heard him say I needed to do this pivot that I'm doing right now, there was a part of me that was like, what? There's so much. How am I going to do this? But then it all just got really easy, because that's what happens. Whenever you're living on mission, you're living on point, you're living on purpose, it all just, you're like, how is that gonna? And then it's just like, well, just got easy. All right, then I'll do this. Yeah, I can do this. That's my message for you guys. That's it. There's nothing more. Not going to flower it up. Nothing like that. I just want for you guys to feel okay with pivoting and understand that staying the course on something that isn't right for you or isn't right for your people, if it's business related, isn't strength. I think people see staying the course. Well, I said I was going to do this and I'm going to keep doing this. I think people see staying the course as strength. And I think following your Lord is strength, wherever that leads. So I love you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.